Hey everyone, welcome to another Painting with Jay. As always, my name is Jay, and so grab a brush, grab some models, grab some paints, and paint along with me. I'm taking a temporary break away from, I don't know why I'm talking like that, from my Imperial Fists. I've been having a great time painting them, got a lot of work done on them, but I want to get some Dark Angels done. And so I'm going to start some Dark Angels, basically. I have tons of Dark Angels to paint. I have 30 Tactical Marines, a couple Librarians, and 15 or 18 bikes. Something like that. At least 15, I think 18 bikes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Going to paint a lot of them. So the next few weeks I'll be working on a lot of Dark Angels. I want to get my Dark Angels back in good shape. You know, back to looking good. And that's it. That way I have a really strong... right now I have basically more points painted in Imperial Fist than in Dark Angels. So got to turn that around. So let's grab some models, grab some paints, and get some work done today, shall we? Yes. Hey everyone, so this week, as I said, I'll be working on my Imperial Fists. Not Imperial Fists, no. I just said I'm not working on Imperial Fists. Why did I say that? I'm working on my Dark Angels. Ravenwing specifically. I want to get some Ravenwing done and looking good. I've been using them in battle reports, but they're not looking too good. I feel guilty when I field Ravenwing, that because they don't really look too good right now. They're not up to my battle report standard army. So I'm going to work on them today. And yeah, so what else have I done? I got the Citadel Air paints finally, and I did a review on them. I haven't put it out yet. It'll probably be out tomorrow, is my guess. This will be out tonight, I guess. And I'm going to start off by using... basically, my goal for this first night is going to be to get all the white areas done in the model. So I'm going to take some white scars, and thin it down with some Lamia medium, and then paint some white areas of my Ravenwing. It's going to be a fun night. And as I said, I have 15 Ravenwing to work on. And I think only one of them out of the 15 is actually done. So I'll be working on some stuff. It's going to be the next few weeks for sure. Since it took me 4 weeks to work on 15 Imperial Fist Tactical Marines, I can only imagine how long it's going to take me to do 15 bikes. I guess bikes might have less or more detail, I don't know. So where are the parts? The parts that I missed, yeah. Are the shoulder pads. And this is not a good brush for this particular job. So I'm going to switch brushes. So let's talk about what's happened recently in life and stuff and love and good stuff, you know. So, what was it? Yeah. What day is it? Today is the 18th? 18th, yep. So, I've had a good week. Full of work, you know, busyness. Keep myself busy. That's the thing. I work a lot. And I do get work done. That's what I do. You know, the thing is, these models, as you can see, I have to kind of, before I do the black areas again, I'm going to have to like kind of dust them again. They've been so old that, they are so old that they're actually collected dust, and I had to like wash the dust off of them before I could even work on them today, because they're that old. These guys, I have 5 or 6 sets. I'm pretty sure I had 6 sets. I don't know where the 5th set, the final set went. I gotta find them. I probably have another group of bikers somewhere around here that I just don't remember where. But it's all good. He's all good. Good. So first one, done. White, done. So today my goal is to get the white, and if I have time, the shade. The blue shade on these guys, because this goes next. So yeah, as I said, I have five or 6 sets of the bikes from the starter set, because I don't know, I just have a bunch of them. That's how I actually have all my Terminators and all my Tactical Marines as well, my Devastators. They're all from the starter set. That's the great thing about the starter set. It really gives you a lot of models. For Dark Angel players, it is the greatest thing ever. because of the amount of models you get. You get Deathwing, you get Ravenwing, you get Greenwing, so it's a great starter set. Yeah, so it's been a busy week. What else happened this week? I did a battle report earlier in the week. I'm going to make sure it's free, because I don't think the last one, it was with a guy named Trevor, and it was a lot of fun. He brought, what's it called? Daemonkin. Khorne Daemonkin. And I've never faced Daemonkin, and I made a mistake of not asking questions. And a few times it kind of cost me. Like, I didn't know that he gets... I forgot. Like, I did a codex review on it, but I haven't really done anything with the codex since the codex review. And I forgot that you get an extra point if you do a challenge kill or if you die in a challenge. So I accepted a couple challenges that I realized afterwards. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have accepted challenges. Because the guy who... because it was an easy kill. Like, I overkilled his squad or he overkilled my squad. So it just gave him more of the Blood Tithe tokens. But Blood Tithe tokens are really fun. It was really cool dynamic. And it was just nice seeing Khorne, in a... I don't want to say positive light, but Khorne's not a very strong faction of Chaos Space Marines right now because they don't have much psychic capabilities. They don't have much shooting. And the game's about shooting right now. I know people say, it's about assault as well, but it is a bit about assault, but it's mostly about shooting. The game's about shooting. A stronger shooting army will usually take out a stronger assaulty army in the game of Warhammer 40k 7th edition. Because a shooting army gets to shoot and shoot and shoot, and when the assaulty army tries to assault, the shooting army gets to shoot them again. So... But, yeah. Assaulty armies can do okay. It's just that most of the assaulty armies don't have access to much armor. The demons have the invuls, which is sweet, but they don't have any really good saves. Orcs are all 6-ups, and most Tyranids are 3-ups at best, but not many of them are. So, it was a lot of fun. Great game. Gladly play against him again. I've played against him before. The last time we played, I don't remember if it was free or in the warp, but he played against my Grot tank army. It was a lot of fun. So that was good. Today, Forge World released. Now, there's been leaked pictures of this new gigantic suit. Like, gigantic suit. And there's been, because obviously the leaked pictures of Tau. One of them was a gigantic suit, one of them was the size of a Riptide, and then the new helmets for the new Tau, apparently. Obviously, new Tau Codex is the next Codex for 40k. So, I was hoping it'd be Chaos Space Marines, but not. I guess not. So what was I saying? Yeah. So, there have been leaked pictures of the giant suit, the Riptide-sized suit, and the new suits, the new helmets for the normal guys. And Forge World is the gigantic suit actually ended up being a Forge World model, and it was officially released today or announced today. And this thing is insane. Like, it's insane. It's a gargantuan monster creature. It's 600 points. Of course, it's like $500 to purchase, but it's 600 points, and has access to some crazy guns. Its base gun has 2 modes. One mode is Strength D. It's Strength D, Massive Blast, AP2. 72-inch range or something like that. Something ridiculous. So that's pretty crazy. And then the other mode is Barrage 3 Apocalypse-size blasts that are Strength 8, AP3, ignores cover. Oh yeah, and the D1's Ordnance. Which means that, which just means that, if it hits like any vehicle, it can reroll, or roll 2, take the highest. So it's pretty powerful. It's gonna be powerful. I would never use it, of course, in battle report because it alone would probably wipe out your entire opponent's army turn 1 against most normal armies that, most, like, take that against a Ravenwing army, for example. You just go into the Barrage 3 Apocalypse-sized blasts, which can cover, 30 straight inches of territory, and it would easily destroy your opponent, So, it's pretty crazy. Also, it's really expensive, obviously, because it's $500 from Forge World, but Canadian at least. But it's pretty crazy. It's powerful. It's gonna be really powerful. People were talking today on the forum that I'm on a Facebook group that I'm a part of, but what could deal with it? Not a lot could deal with it because it's a gargantuan monstrous creature. So poison doesn't work. It has, I think, like 10 wounds, 9 or 10 wounds. It's toughness 9. So really, very few things will be wounding it easily. People are saying maybe like grav weapons, but the thing is with grav weapons is that if the squad of grav weapon dudes, it's only a 24-inch range. So if your opponent, just then drops the big blast of D on top of their heads first, and then they die, because Centurions don't have access to invols, or if they're Ravenwing who have grav weapons, you drop the giant Strength 8, AP 3, ignores cover, and then it wipes out the Ravenwing. So it's going to be a very strong suit, and in competitive games that allow Forge World, it's 600 points, and it's a Lord of War. But for 600 points, you put something on the table that your opponent literally has no answer for. You could try tying it up for the rest of the game in combat, which could work. You send in 30 guys and just tie it up, but just to get them in close combat would be a challenge, I think. That could work if you're able to tie it up. Wouldn't be too bad. But it'd be very challenging to tie it up, right? And also it has stomp, right? So it has strength D and then it stomps. But 30 guys could probably tie it up for most of the game, providing you can getting them in combat. That'd be like a squad of Hormiguns. Or something like that. A squad of Orc Boys. Well, no, squad of Hormiguns would be the key. Because with Tyranids, as long as you keep them in Synapse, they're fearless. So you can just keep taking wounds without any fear of failing the leadership test. Problems with Orcs is Orcs will also probably pass the test because of a large quantity of boys, but then they'll probably hurt themselves. So you don't really want that. But yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So that's the first part of the Tau that finally came out. And that's cool. And of course, obviously there's another Riptide coming out. A new Riptide suit size thing. And what's the other thing? Yeah, maybe a new base kit. So we'll see for new troops. That'd be cool. Alright, it's not taking me long at all to get the whites done. And then I'll do the shade and then more white. That's good. I was wondering how long it was going to take me. Also, as I said, I picked up some Citadel Air Paints this week. I ordered them 2 weeks ago, and they finally came. I used them today. I was just having fun spraying stuff. I wasn't really masking well, but look at that. The white. I really like it. White's a hard color to spray usually. Turned out nicely. I like them. I think they're decent. They have some flaws. I'll go over all this in my review, but since you're my confidants, my main flaws with the paints are A, they're in paint pots, and that's annoying. When you're doing airbrushing using paint pots is wasteful, because you either have to use a brush or a dropper, and it's silly, right? You should just fill other bottles that you can do it with them or something like that. It saves time. Another problem is they are really expensive for the amount you get. I love Minotaur. I use a lot of Minotaur. And Minotaur is less than half the cost per amount you get. Less than half. And another problem is that they're only web store only. So, excuse me, it's choking me up about this. No, they're Webster only, so it's going to be really difficult to keep them, keep using them, because when I run out of one, I have to order it, and then my choice is have it delivered to my house, and delivering in Canada, because GW ships out of Texas, I'm pretty sure, southern states, via UPS, and so the minimum shipping cost in Canada is like $25. So the only thing you do is you have to get free shipping, or shipped to a local GW. And then the local GW to Peterborough is an Ajax, which is like an hour and 15 minutes away. So it's pretty far. So besides that, the colors, all the colors I picked up, I really, really like, but I'm disappointed in the lack of some colors. As I said, the yellows, to me, the yellows were where this were a color scheme. Like, the reds are good, because the reds, they did Evil Sun Scarlet, Mephisto Red, and Wild Rider Red. So all three colors made it to air, and that's great. But for the yellows, for some reason, they decided not to do the mid-tone, and that's the one that people would use the most, in my opinion. Eero Yellow. And the fact that they ignored that, I don't know why they wouldn't do Eero Yellow. To me, it's the one that they should have done, and they didn't do it. So Averland Sunset. I did an Averland Sunset model, and it turned out really nicely. I just sprayed a model with Averland Sunset. Where is it? Right there. I'm doing Imperial Fist Terminators using the one group from the starter set. So here's Averland Sunset. Just quick spray, one coat over, great coverage. I love the pigmentation on it. No watery appearance, no spider webbing. Great stuff. I was very impressed with it. And I did a green. Here's a test with the Caliban green. Once again, looks great. I'm a huge fan of the results of these things. It's just they have some flaws, because they're harder to use and more expensive. But they're by no means a flawed product. So I'm only 16 minutes in. This is going to be tons of time today. What else about my week? Just worked a lot. Oh, I didn't put out a battle report this week, but because I was focusing on, I really wanted to get another How to Play 40K up, and I did, and I felt so good. It's one of those series that every time I put up a video, I'm happy, because that feeling of accomplishment. It is by far the hardest series that I film, and as always, I should mention, I should have said this at the beginning of my video, but whatever. As always, as I said right now, if you find that you have any spare, if you want to contribute to my Patreon campaign, funds from this campaign will eventually, my goal is to raise funds so that I can keep the series going regularly, basically, for How to Play 40K. Because it's by far the hardest to film. And, So. But, so if you have time, if you want to go check out my campaign, link in the description below. Funds would be greatly appreciated. What else? I saw an interesting video and picture yesterday. It's from a friend of mine named Stu, who's painting along with me right now. I can detect it. That Stu, you're painting right now. So Stu, how's it going? I'm psychic right now. Psychic. Stu is painting. I'm detecting an Imperial Knight. Stu is painting an Imperial Knight as we speak. In fact, he's painting the same Imperial Knight, or he's working on the Imperial Knights, that is bringing up what I'm talking about right now. Stu decided to try using a gold marker, and I've never thought about that before. I might try it out and see how it does, and maybe do a miniature paint wall on it. It's interesting. He used a gold Sharpie to paint gold trim on one of his Imperial Knights, because a marker, if you take your time, a marker will give you great control over the point, and the results actually looked quite good. I wouldn't have been able to tell he used a Sharpie, so in the future, I might try that out and see how it does. to see how it relate and how it would take a varnish. And oh, Adam, you missed a spot. And yeah, that'd be cool. So Stu, leave in the comment section down below, Stu, because I know you're painting right now with us. How the Imperial Knight's coming along, and how did the marker turn out? Because I'm interested in knowing. It's a very cool approach. And that's the thing about people these days with painting. Like when I first got into 40K, the painting community didn't exist because there was no internet at the time, right? Or wasn't a real internet for people. And it was, you had the GW how to paint guides, and that's it. There was no connection and no way of learning painting skills. And now people are so spoiled, and it's so easy to just go online and to see what other people are doing, to get ideas off them, to learn techniques off them. And that's really cool. And it's also one of the reasons why I love Miniature Painting 101 so much to make. I switched my intro for Miniature Painting 101 for now the videos, the number of videos, like parts 100. This thing, I switched up starting this week. It's going to be different. But it won't hit for the free content for another 6 months. So in March, you'll notice there's a difference in titles. I filmed my 101st episode last week, and this week was part 102. For my 101st episode, I decided to do a behind the scenes of Miniature Painting 101. I thought it'd be really cool to film how to film a Miniature Painting 101 as part 101 of my Miniature Painting 101. And it was cool. It was well received. I don't know where my Dragonhoof Nightshade went. I dropped it earlier. And I put it somewhere. That's Gilliman Blue. Stu, did you steal my Dragonhoof Nightshade? Whatever. I'll use this one. So, yeah. This week's painting tutorial in the warp, by the way, people, is Baharoth or Bahareth. Here he is right here. A lot of fun to paint up. Bit of a hassle, though, because this is the resin one. And based on the position and the tiny, tiny connection, a lot of movement. And so, dry brushing it was really hard sometimes because you're just like, oh, no, don't break it. Don't break the model. Turned out pretty awesome. I'm happy with it. So this is Baharoth, or Bahareth, however you pronounce it. Turned out pretty fun. Tutorial in the work. Go check it out. Also available for sale. I'm probably going to sell them. But, yeah. So now it's time to take some Dragonhoof Nightshade. And we're going to shade all the blue areas that I just painted. Well, we, meaning me, really. You're not going to do that. You're going to do whatever you want. And I just found my other bottle of Dragonhoof Nightshade while I was doing that. Okay. I'm going to water it down slightly with some water. But, yeah. So things aren't bad. I'm keeping positive, working hard. I am. I'm just trying to keep positive. Work hard. That's the key, And then, yeah. Oh, yeah, what else? This week, one of the shows I really love, one of the summer shows, the two shows I watched this summer a lot were America's Got Talent, which I was kind of disappointed in the results, and American Ninja Warrior, which I was really happy with the results. So American Ninja Warrior, let me start off by saying American Ninja Warrior is awesome. I love the show. But the thing is with American Ninja Warrior is that it is a course. It's an obstacle course, essentially, right? Many levels of obstacle course. And, but the thing is, unless you finish the course, so at the end of the year, whoever went the farthest doesn't get a prize unless they finish. They have to actually finish the course. And if multiple people finish, whoever finishes the fastest wins the prize. Obviously, whoever finishes gets the name American Ninja Warrior, but whoever finishes the fastest wins the prize. The prize is $1 million this year. It was $500,000 last year, but this is the 7th season of the show, and no one has ever won the prize because it's so hard. And these people are so dedicated to this show. Right? Like people train for year on end, year in days, every day for this show. And there are some other people that are just really naturally talented that I always thought could win the show. And one of them actually ended up winning the show this year. So there was an actual winner. And sorry, spoiler alert, people. Spoiler alert. But one guy who is like an insane rock climber dude, he won. Two people got to the final. Two people actually completed the course. And but one of them finished faster, obviously, than the other, and won. So it was really cool seeing someone. I'm watching the show for a couple of years now, and it's really cool seeing someone actually win the prize at the end of the competition. Because it's weird watching an entire summer competition in which no one wins anything. You know, I'm used to. That's really blue. Wow, I just realized that. And I even watered it down. I'm gonna water it down more. You know, like it doesn't have. It's a weird show because it doesn't have that sense of resolve at the end. Because it's a competition, but it doesn't have a winner at the end. It's like, okay, you guys got far, but you didn't finish, so we're not giving away a prize or a trophy or anything. Good luck next year. And that's what it's been for the last 6 years. And it was really cool this year seeing a winner and someone actually walk away with the prize and the money. And so I'm curious as to next year. How hard will this course be? Because I couldn't imagine doing the course now. I could probably finish one part of each course, of each part of the course. I can finish one part, like one specific obstacle, and that's it. These things are so hard. And yeah, I don't know. They're just so hard. So I'm curious as to how hard will it be next year. But that was cool. America's Got Talent finished. And as I said, I really wasn't too big on the winner. I wanted the Human Regurgitator to win. He didn't. I've been a fan of his for years and years and years. He used to be on. He did Just for Laughs. He's done a bunch of things. He's in the Guinness Book of Records. I've known about him for a long time. Or Piff. Piff's last trick really wasn't amazing. So I understand why. But it was cool seeing Piff. Piff didn't make the final 5. Gurgitator did. Yeah. But I was a little disappointed. And it was also Howard Stern's last episode of America's Got Talent. Which means that starting next year, they're going to move it back to L.A. Because they were only keeping it in New York for Howard Stern. It was the agreement that they had with him that as long as he was in the show, they'll keep it in New York. And they relocated solely for Howard Stern. So. Yeah. But I liked that also because one of the things I really liked about the show, especially the last couple seasons with Howard Stern, I guess he's done the last 4. But Howard is a shock jock, right? He's a he knows that he gets paid to be himself, but also he gets paid to push people's buttons, right? He intentionally, he's a shock act, like Marilyn Manson, like a lot of people. They know their viewer base, and they know how to get views. They know how to angry people, but a lot of the time, though they're being part of themselves, they're not necessarily being themselves. And it was really cool seeing Howard Stern in a different light, and I think he got so many more viewers and fans when he finally got to be himself, but didn't have to be an extreme, like, in-your-face rude version of himself. Like, he's not a rude guy in real life. I'm guessing he's a really nice guy. And it was just cool seeing him in that light for once. Then he's now just going back to... He has another show lined up, apparently. But... and his radio show and stuff. But it was just really cool. I liked seeing Howard Stern as a human, not as a shock jock. So, That was cool. We're done. Nope, I'm not done. I spoke too soon. A couple left. With the blue. Yeah. Can't wait. The comment section is going to be hilarious when Stu is like, I was painting. And Adam did miss a spot. Psychic J. I have my own show eventually called Psychic J. What else is going on right now? I believe my old homie Dave for Mini Wargaming is in Britain. So if any of my British viewers are watching this episode, let me know if you met Dave. I really hope that you guys were able to, and girls obviously, but I hope everyone was able to go meet Dave. Because I was really sad, obviously especially with the circumstances of why Dave couldn't go. But when Dave could not go to Britain, he really wanted to go to Britain. And I was really excited for fans to finally meet him. You know, people really want to meet Dave. He's kind of the fan favorite. So, but then Dave couldn't go last trip with Matt. So I'm really happy that Dave was finally able to go now, and I'm hoping that some of you people out there in internet land were able to go meet him. I think he did a hangout at the same shop that Matt did. I think. I could be wrong. So I hope you all were able to go meet Dave. What else? It's election season. I'm not really going too much into politics, but it's election season. The thing is with Canada versus the U.S. The weirdest thing about the U.S. is the U.S. elections. Like it's insane when they start kicking into gear. The U.S. elections are still like a year and a half away, and the candidates are fighting like cats and dogs right now. And versus Canada, where we're having like the longest. This is the longest election season ever in Canada. And I think it's 3 months. 3 months from when we go, hey, let's have an election to we vote to who's the next prime minister, right? And yeah, so it's heating up right now. The Canadian politicians get along a little bit better, I'm saying, than the American ones. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that rarely does a candidate really speak to me. If a candidate's ever like, I will give giant tax breaks to YouTubers who like board games and nerdy stuff, I will be like, you have me. You had me at hello. But until then, I don't know. So, that's it. I'm not going to really go into politics much, but it's just weird seeing that all their votes. And the weird thing in Canada is... Say, I just going to get a drink. Yeah, it's just 3 months, and then it'll be over soon. But what frequently happens in Canada, based on how just the parties do, is that we end up with minority governments. So the governments are in charge, like a party is in charge, but nothing ever happens. And that happens frequently in Canada. So, yeah. We'll see what happens this year. So the blue's drying. I really shouldn't start on the white areas until the blue is dry. So I'll work on the metallics of the ones that I haven't done metallics on yet. Which I've done the metallics, I think, on all of them, but the newer ones, I think. Yeah, let me see. These 3. So we'll get the metallics done on these 3. Then we'll work on them. Excuse me. Good stuff. The really cool thing about working on these Ravenwing right now... Here, I should just move back a little bit. There we go. The cool thing about working on these Ravenwing right now is that these are actually the very same Ravenwing, other than 3 new ones that I built, which are the ones I'm about to paint some lead belcher. These are the same ones I worked on my very first Painting with Jay. And I only did one episode of Painting with Jay. Because then I lost a lot of, I was working 3 jobs at the time and I couldn't keep up. So I had to stop doing Painting with Jay. And it was actually, I wanted to bring back Painting with Jay. I mean, it was actually one of the viewers who's probably watching right now, Master Dwaylen, who suggested I bring it back as well. I was thinking, yeah, at the time I was thinking about doing it already. So then I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll do it. And since then, it's been by far one of my favorite series to make. And the amount of work I've accomplished, and I really hope you got people out there in internet land who've accomplished what I've accomplished, because then you will also have that really awesome feeling of accomplishment, you know? I love looking and seeing all these painted models on my tables and on my shelves and in my collections, and seeing not many models left to be painted. You know, after my Dark Angels are done, which is my goal over the next probably month and a half, I'll probably be working on Dark Angels, maybe 2 months. When they're done, like all these models, when these models are done, I'll actually be done my Dark Angels. Or all my Dark Angel models will be painted at least. And it'll be my only army in which 100% of the models are painted. Almost all my Grey Knights are painted. I have maybe a couple strike squads. And almost all my Imperial Fists are painted. Almost. Still a few things left. But eventually I might paint I'm thinking I might build, I have a couple Dreadnoughts that I have. One's a Venerable, one's not. So I might make a Venerable one, Dark Angels themed, maybe Deathwing themed, colored, and then do the normal Dreadnought Imperial Fist themed, because yeah, part of the Demi Company. If I had a lot of funds and time and money, or viewers that want to send me free Razorbacks and drop pods, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, no pressure, I would love to do like the Demi Company list and bring that to a tournament, where it's just, you know, Demi Company, 2 Demi Companies, and a whole lot of free transports, and have some fun. One day. There's so many things left I still want to buy and build, but I've intentionally, because this year, I'm not doing amazingly financially, obviously, as I've discussed, and I'm not going to go too much into detail of that or anything, but I intentionally, these Painting with Jays have really accomplished for me is that no more just buying models and putting them on the shelf, not shelf, you know, on my to be painted later groups. No more of that. You know, I've painted, for every model I've purchased this year, I've painted probably about 40, maybe 50. So the amount of models that I have that, you know, need painting has gone down insanely. And actually at this pace, I did the math the other day. And at this pace, another probably 6 months, maybe 8 months tops, I will have almost painted every model in my, you know, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds when I first started that needed to be painted. Every one will be done. And if that is the case, I will be one happy person. I'm not going to stop doing Painting with Jays, but that means that I can actually just buy a model and not have to put it away for a while, and I can just paint it on the spot. And that would be amazing. That would be really cool. So, that's my goal. And we'll see. We'll do it together. You and me. And that's what Painting with Jay is about. You know? Can't wait to have a bunch of painted Ravenwing. And the question is, what after that? I can maybe collect a little bit more. I'm probably not going to start another army until at least 2 of my armies are completely painted, top to bottom. I got that question. I do a Q&J, a small Q&J every week in the Warp. And this week's Q&J, one of my Warp subscribers asked me if I was to start another army right now. No, of course, knowing I have 7 studio armies at the moment. The 7 being Grey Knights, Dark Angels, Imperial Fists, Imperial Knights, Tyranids, Orcs, and Necrons. Which one would I collect next? I think the next one I would probably collect is either Cult Mechanicus or Adeptus Mechanicus. Admech or, specific Cult Mech. Maybe a combination of the two. I love the look of the Cult Mechanicus models. I really do. And so do the Admech. They both look amazing. So probably them. There we go. Metallics. Done. 3 color minimum. White and blue. Silver. Black. Yeah. Motorcycle guy's been extra loud lately. He's not going to be out right now. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I waited a little bit later in the day. It's actually quite late. I'm painting at a late hour because I know for a fact that my motorcycle vroom vroom guy is gone. Today he's been vrooming his engine. Like, what he does is he's been switching. He usually just drives around the block. But what he's been doing lately, instead of driving around the block, he just drives up and down his driveway. Like, he drives up and then walks the bike backwards and then drives up and does the same. And it's kind of silly and stupid. I don't like that. Because A, it's a waste of gas. B, it's just noise pollution. I know he loves his motorcycle. I love my motorcycle. I'm not a fan of those people that have to just... Rubik's about to bark. So I'm going to stop for a second. And I'm back. Sorry, my other neighbors to my other side like to smoke on their roof, and Rubik doesn't like that. So, I don't know. Mr. Vroom Vroom guy. I really should confront him. Be like, dude, don't need to vroom vroom all the time, Especially if I posted like that. That'd be kind of funny. Look at all these bikes. I am excited. An entire biker army. Now I'm not going to do all Ravenwing. Probably not. Because I don't have attack bikes. That's another thing where I could fill out just more attack bikes and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to a big tournament coming up soon called Brawl. It's about a month and a half away. 2 months away. It'll be a lot of fun. I've done tournaments in a long time, and getting back into the tournament scene just for fun has been really good time. Good time, That's enough Rubik. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Good times. Having these Ravenwing done will be a lot of fun too. I can use Ravenwing. I've been using them in battle reports anyways, but I feel guilty. I really do feel guilty. I always like to have my models, painted to some standard at least, or at least work in progress. Not models that I haven't touched in a long time, But it's okay. Y'all understand. Blue Jays are doing well. I'm going to keep talking about Blue Jays because Blue Jays are awesome. Also because my name is Jay and my favorite color is blue, and still, my favorite bird is, out of all the Jays, out of all the corvids, is actually the gray jay. But that's a different story. Some trivia for you. But, yeah, they're awesome. They're kicking butt. Today they won again. Yankees lost. So Jays are in first place in their division by 4 or 5 games. 4.5 games, I think, right now. And it's basically meaning that Yankees aren't going to catch them. Not anytime. They could, but the odds are very slim that Yankees are going to catch the Jays. Yankees are going to have to fight for the wild card, which they're in very good shape to get. They'll get the wild card. But Jays, on the other hand, will get into the playoffs. That's cool because they were showing repeats of it. Jays haven't been good in a long, long, long time. And it's just awesome seeing a Canadian baseball team doing so well. Because obviously, the Americans win it every year, other than the 2 years that the Canadians have won it. So, I'm not a big sports person. I don't follow that much. Leafs obviously are just a disappointment in training. You don't follow the Leafs unless you want to be disappointed. But it's just been really cool this year. And I was able to get to one Jays game. Maybe I'll see another one. Don't think so, probably this year. I don't have the money I definitely don't have the money to go see a playoff game. Those would be very expensive tickets. But go Jays. I'm really happy with them. I played baseball a long time ago, just as a kid, not anything good. And then I used to play in the softball league and stuff, but not anything I was never ever I could have turned pro. No. Could have been the big leagues. Could have been. No. Hey, technically I'm a professional gamer anyway, right? I play a war game professionally. Get paid to do it. Just the same thing. Jay Psychic Predictions. Jay. I can be a little messy with this because I do clean up the blacks. It's the last step I do whenever I paint models like Ravenwing is I do the black colors after, and I always highlight. I do some highlights afterwards. Just they're my cleanup colors because they're so dark. Obviously, when you're doing with the blacks, that you can use them as a cleanup color for the rest. So if you're batch painting like I am, I can kind of get away with being a little bit messier than I normally would if I was painting a single model. Because I know I'll clean it up after. But these guys look awesome. I'm excited. So by the end of this, probably, I'm guessing, definitely before Halloween, but probably, the next 3 weeks, I'll work on these guys, get them all done. And then start on the giant amounts of tactical Marines I have for Dark Angels. I think 30 at least, maybe 40. And I'm debating what standard I'm going to paint them to. Should I just stick with because I actually have painted almost my entire army, just specifically the tactical Marines this way. But I use dips. Excuse me. I just prime them or base coat them Caliban green, paint a mid-tone for each area, and then dip them. And it turned out nicely. They're battle report worthy for sure, and they look good, and people don't object. So I might do that. Or I could paint them to a higher standard, like I did my Imperial Fists. I could paint them to that standard. It'd just take me a lot longer, but they would look good. So either one. I'll decide while I'm painting these guys up. We'll see. Gotta get some more iron breaker. Or lead belcher, sorry. For those wondering, the next convention I go to will probably be Adepticon. I don't think I'm going to go into the LVO next year, unfortunately. Sorry, Pablo. If Pablo's watching. Pablo's an awesome guy who I met at... well, I met, had a lot of good conversations with at LVO this year. Dude works at SeaWorld. That is so cool. I don't know why, I just went to Mitch Hedberg for a second. Hey. Yeah, you know what I mean. I should do an entire battle report as Mitch Hedberg. So now, they are going over there. Why would the orcs do that? They are silly. Yeah. Holy moly. The orcs just won combat. D6 consolidate. Good job, orcs. Random trivia again. Mitch Hedberg, who's a dead comedian. He was a really good comedian, but he died. Overdosed himself. Him and I have the same birthday. So that's kind of cool. Same day. But oh, I'm still alive. Alright, what now? I don't know if it's dry yet. I'll give these a little time to dry before I null and oil them. That's good though. I got the blues shade done. I just gotta do the highlights now. The highlight though is gonna take forever because they're all feathers and I have to do each feather individually. Oh look, they're dry. Alright, let's start it. Oh, this is gonna take a while. I pity the fool who has to paint under feathers. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna try using Ghost White. I pity the fool who has to paint on his Ravenwing. Oh wait, that's me. Bad Impressions with Jay. First Mitch Hedberg and now Mr. T. Today at work, I made a joke. At my job, there's kind of an interesting dichotomy. There's some young kids who work with me, but most of the people are like my age and older. And I made a joke. They said, hey Jay, you know, why do you need, I was just joking that I need a little extra money. And they said, well, why do you need extra money? And I said, I have a Fabergé egg addiction. It's from a really old episode of The Simpsons with Bleeding Gums Murphy. But I know what a Fabergé egg is, right? It's a jeweled egg produced by the Fabergé dude. You know, his name was actually Fabergé in like the 1800s to early 1880 to 1912. And the best part about it was I was the only one, and I'm a guy, and I was the only one there. It was a bunch of 45-year-old women, and none of them knew what a Fabergé egg was. I was like, what? Now I'm talking to you guys about this, and I know all of you are Fabergé egg collectors. Stu, I know Stu is mad into the Fabergé egg collecting. Obviously, I don't collect Fabergé eggs because they're like thousands upon thousands of dollars, but it was just a joke. But I just thought it was funny. Like, you know when you tell a joke and you figure the people should know it, and they don't, and you're like, what? Everyone should know that joke. Why don't you know that joke? You don't comprehend what I'm saying. My brush is too big. Darn. Yeah. That's kind of what happened. That moment when you tell a joke and they don't understand you. I gotta get my live shows back on. I've just been so busy lately, people. I'm sorry. Somebody asked me about that in the comments of my last video. I'm sorry. I gotta do a live show again. I just haven't had time. It was honestly a choice tonight between a live show and Painting with Jay. And I chose Painting with Jay because it's a series and obviously it's much more popular and I get to paint, you know. I like live shows. I've had a great time doing them again because I love the interaction. I love it. It's really cool to just being, you know, it's just really cool to actually be able to live interact with all y'all. Which is one of the reasons why I love going to conventions. You know, because I get to interact with you. And it's, as much as I love making videos, and I love making videos, the downside is that it's very one-sided, right? I get your comments, and I get your emails, and that's it, you know? I don't ever get to see what you look like, talk to you, hear your voice, and you are just, it's very one-sided conversation, you know, because you're hit over the head with Jay and what Jay looks like, and obviously, like, you know, I'm tall and stuff, but I still love it to this day. It's the #1 comment I get when people meet with me. Dude, you are taller than I thought you would be. I get it all the time. I'm like, oh, I guess. That's the thing, this mini wargaming guys. When I worked there, we were all tall. So you couldn't tell, you know, Matt versus me versus Dave versus Owen. You know, Owen was the tallest, but you didn't know how tall Owen was. Owen's like 6'5", I'm 6'3". Matt's about my height. Dave is about 6 even. Steve is about 6'4", but he is a giant of a man. He's a big guy. For any of you who ever go and play against Steve at Mini Wargaming, my tip to you is don't ever criticize Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. Don't criticize diet drinks in general. That's his favorite thing to drink, is like Diet Coke or Pepsi, one or the other. It's his favorite drink, and he hates it when people criticize it. And he's always like, give me your hand. And if he ever says, give me your hand, after you make a joke, don't ever give him your hand. Don't do it. Don't do it. His other joking thing is to crush you. Because he's a mountain of a man. I like Steve. He's a good guy. Who likes people. I never actually got to work with Steve, but I met him. I know who he is. And obviously I worked with I knew Leland ahead of time before Leland started, because Leland did a couple battle reports with me when I was working at Mini Wargaming. Back when he was working at a place in Toronto. Well, I've started highlighting the whites. It's really messy. I've got to clean that up in my next couple colors, but I'm going to end soon, because we're at 55 minutes about right now. But it's okay. Life keeps going. I was driving today, and I listen to everything, music-wise. But sometimes I love to drive and listen to classical music. And you almost feel like you're in a car commercial when you do it. But my favorite piece of music actually came on, and it doesn't get played very often. My favorite piece of classical music is a song, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. It's basically Andante Cantabile by Tchaikovsky. And today I was driving, and all of a sudden it came on, and it was just really cool, you know. And it was cool driving to it, because I've never heard that song on the radio. It was a decent version. What other random music trivia should I talk about? Oh yeah, so I read an article the other day about stolen music. Stolen music. So bands or artists that like to steal, and I'm not saying sample and give credit, I'm talking about stealing, as in bad, you know, taking their lyrics, taking their songs, you know, like, and then people have actually used metrics to look at what bands are the most stolen from and who steals the most from other bands. And what surprised me was one of the most stolen albums was one of the Beach Boy albums. As in stolen, as in it contained a large quantity of songs that were stolen from other artists. Primarily from people like Chuck Berry, old kind of rock jazz musicians. Brian Wilson went through this one phase where he was really tapped creatively. So what he did was he was listening to a lot of Chuck Berry, and he stole a lot of Chuck Berry songs, like Surfin' USA, stolen. Help Me Rhonda, stolen. You know, all these old Beach Boy songs are stolen. And the best part about this was, eventually it came forth, because obviously it wasn't then, but it eventually came forth like, hey, and the Beach Boys were like, hey, Brian Wilson, did you steal all these songs? And Brian Wilson was like, yeah, I did. I was not in a good place creatively, and so I stole the songs. And he admitted to it. Like, he wasn't hiding it. But it was just really funny how candid he was, and he just was like, yep, stole all the songs. Chuck Berry. So I think Chuck Berry has like some credits over some of the songs or something. Weirdly, one of the bands that steal the most songs is not the Beach Boys, it's Led Zeppelin. It's estimated that between 1 in every 3 to 4 songs that Led Zeppelin put on an album was stolen from a no-named jazz artist. Or another band that Zeppelin toured with prior to releasing that song. Like, name any song. Whole Lotta Love, Stairway to Heaven. The opening of Stairway to Heaven was stolen from a band that Led Zeppelin toured with a year before they released that album. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. They stole a lot of songs. So Led Zeppelin, one of the greatest rock bands of all time, if not the greatest, stole a lot of their stuff. Riff-wise and lyric-wise. It was a combination. And that's what makes them so interesting. Johnny Cash, one of his songs were stolen. Two of his songs that he claimed he wrote were stolen from other artists. Again, no-named old jazz artists. People who couldn't defend themselves. Poor musicians that just couldn't, ever claim it. Interesting stuff. I don't know what the title of this video is going to be. Or Daemonkin and stolen music. I don't know. Elvis. Hound Dog was stolen from another artist. It's crazy, And we live in a society today where it's so easy to steal stuff. Obviously, some people, I don't think everything is intentionally stolen. Like, I don't think Blurred Lines was stolen from Marvin Gaye. I really don't. If you do, I disagree. We have different opinions. They don't sound that similar to me. And the problem is, a lot of these times, these days, people like to bring back songs from the past. Like a sound from the past. To bring some familiarity to the song. They'll throw some disco vibes into it, or, again, some funk to it. And the problem is, these old artists then are missing. I think that sometimes they interpret these songs and as they're stealing as they steal their songs. I don't know. And there's so many songs that have been created that I don't think it's possible for all artists to intentionally steal. There was that case with "Stay With Me" from Sam Smith and Tom Petty. But people keep going, well, why didn't he just listen to Tom Petty and know that he was copying a song? Probably because there are so many... how many songs do you think were ever created, And, you can't take into consideration every song that was ever written sometimes when you're writing your own lyrics. How do you know where the creativity comes from? Does it come from some place that you're thinking you're being original, or from somewhere you've seen that you just don't remember, something subliminal? You know, I don't, like, I'm not a songwriter, but it's hard to differentiate a song that I came up with off the top of my head and from possibly something that I might have heard one time when I was a kid. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. But then there's other times where it's like cut and dry, like these cases where I mentioned, like Led Zeppelin, for example. They stole. Like, that's like lyrically word for word or chord for chord. So, Stairway to Heaven, Whole Lot of Love. I learned today that Joan Jett's version of I Love Rock and Roll was not the original. That was kind of cool. She didn't steal it, she just covered it. What does Jay do in his free time? Well, it's not really free time. I like music trivia. Good. Another one done. I'm probably going to call it now because we're kind of late. This will be up tomorrow. But I've had a good time ranting and raving. Rubik's doing something. It's making me suspicious. Oh, that's all good. So we'll end now. So that concludes another episode of Painting with Jay. Hope you got stuff done. Got as much work done as you can. I got the base coat of the whites done, all the blue shade, and I've highlighted up 5, 6, 7 of the 15. So that's pretty good. I'll keep working on them as the week goes on, and I'll have the whites done, and next week I'll have the metallics done. So then I guess I'll do browns and golds next week or something. We'll figure it out. I'm going to keep working on them for the next few weeks and get these Ravenwing done and on the table ASAP because I just really want to have some Ravenwing done for battle report purposes. It'd be nice to have them done and looking good for battle reports, and that way they can go kick butt on the battlefield. Good stuff. So I hope you got stuff done. Hope you like my ravings today. As I said, if you have a chance, please go check out my Patreon campaign. A link in the description below. Funds from that will be going towards future videos. My painting tutorials. I'm actually going to get a painting tutorial for free in the next month. I'm going to put one out for free. And obviously episodes of how to play Warhammer 40k. So please go check it out if you have a chance. If you don't want to support it, no problem. I understand. But if you do have the opportunity to support me, it'd be greatly appreciated. And so as always, thank you so much for being a part of this. Listen to my ramblings, paint along with me, getting work done, and kicking butt. So thank you. Until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.